Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Saturday after Friday night Smackdown review. I am AD, and I hope you're having a good day today. So, today's Smackdown for April 25th, 2025, week one. This is the first Smackdown after WrestleMania, live from Fort Worth, Texas. Let's get right into it. We have another recap of WrestleMania, even though we had a recap on Monday, and we had a recap throughout the entire week leading up to Friday. So we have another one, and I think it was just to waste time. We start off again like we did on Monday with John Cena coming out again to the all black, just his letters, the entrance with just his music. Good stuff. It's good heel work. And again, we thought, oh, is Randy gonna come out again? Then RKO him. But it turns out he just came out to interrupt him and talk about being a father and talk about, John missing a void in his life. There was a point in this dialogue between them that I was wondering, like, what are we talking about? Randy, what are you talking about having children and being happy and making John happier? And it's been 25 years since, they've been there. And John's like, I don't care, man. I've been taking care of children, which is the audience. It just felt like, I don't know. It felt out of place since like during as it went longer because I was like, who cares about this? I mean, I don't know. I was into it. I was gonna see, okay, is Randy gonna come out here and like fight him? Is gonna start something? And then it just got into this whole long thing about like, oh no, you suck, and I don't care that you have children, and these people are still stupid, and all that because they'll cheer me and they'll applaud me even though I'm calling them idiots. And he does have some points because I don't know what you would attribute it to, but heels you're supposed to boo, right? You're supposed to boo the heels, but for some reason, this crowd with Cena, it's like he literally insults them, and people will still say like, will still cheer him, and it's like, okay, like, what are you talking about? Like, you guys are that fickle in a way. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just know I don't like it. Heels should get booed. That's the whole point. If you're cheering for the heels and booing the faces, I don't know. Switch them out or something. But it was really weird. But one of the moments that really stuck out to me was when John Cena told Randy Orton that he was parent shaming him. I don't know. I thought I just as soon as it came out of his mouth, I was like, I never want to hear that word out of his mouth again. It was one of those things that surprised me because I did not expect that. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I don't want to hear that word from him again. I don't want to hear, don't parent shame me. John Cena has gone on record many times of like why he doesn't have any kids or doesn't want kids. I think he did an interview with Shannon Sharp while ago talking about why he's not married or why he doesn't want kids. Just like leave it. I don't even know why that was brought up. I think that was the whole point too. It's like it's weird for Randy to bring that up. But yeah, insulting the audience and the audience still loves him. I don't understand. And then, John gets his leg back, but then Orton, gets an RKO after missing the belt. I don't know what they're gonna do with this because obviously they're setting up for Backlash, which they've already, which they announced that they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be for the belt. That's a little bit surprising because the countdown from Cena, we have 26 more times that we'll see him. And in October it'll be his last appearance in the ring. So if he loses to Randy in Backlash, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna go? Are we gonna do a thing again where he's gonna become the 18th time? Because he's already beat the record for 17 times, right? So if he loses to Randy and then he wins it again before October, he'll have 18. Is that what they're gonna do, or is John gonna win? By cheating or by like hitting him with a belt, just like he did Cody, and then he retains it until October. Because that's really what like this whole angle is, at least to me. It's really much, John Cena's leaving in October. October is his last time being in the ring. What are we gonna do till then? He counted it down. There's 26 more times that we'll see John Cena. So we'll see if he shows up on Monday. We'll see if he shows up on Raw or Friday, next week's SmackDown. But yeah, again, this is just setting up the feud. I don't know if Monday we'll see John again. All I know is that the match is set. Backlash is going to be Randy Orton versus John Cena. Okay, so let's work towards that. Do I want to see John coming out again on Monday, berate the audience, and then Randy come out and they talk about something else? I think by now it's already done. Like we don't need to see this again and again. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, backlash for the belt, Randy Orton's hometown. So it'll be fun to see that. But again, if John loses, then he can win it again before October, which then he'll be 18, or he keeps it and then has to lose it before October or in October, so it doesn't retire with him. Be the last great real champion of the business. First match on the card, the debut of what do they call Fraxium versus Los Garza. I don't know what it was, if it was because of Netflix or something, but I felt that this entire show they were doing too many cuts. I don't understand if that's for commercial breaks, because it didn't really mention commercial breaks before it, but there would be moments where it would just cut off for like a good couple of seconds or minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes. I remember, I was waiting for Los Garza to come out and I was gonna watch the entrance, but then it cut off immediately, and then it cuts to, and then when we come back, it comes to Fraxium's entrance. So I don't understand, and it happened throughout the entire SmackDown on Netflix. So I don't know if it's because it's on Netflix that they do these commercial breaks, even though they're not really commercial breaks. They're just these little like screensaver that says we'll be right back. So I don't know if anybody could, answer me what the hell is happening there, because why am I missing these guys' entrances? I should see their entrance. Fraxim, so yeah. And I even wrote down here, was I missing this match because the cut away was a bit too long. But again, I just missed the entire entrance to La Garza. I don't know why. I missed their entire entrance. So, the match was fun. It was good. They were fast. It was speedy. For some reason, I was hearing the ropes a lot during this match. Like when they went up to the ropes, when they used the ropes, you could hear the reverberation of it. That was a bit weird, but in a way, it kind of added to it because we always hear the mat sound. So maybe, hearing the rope sounds also something fun. But I don't know, but it was just very noticeable that I was hearing them. Every time the rope was being used and stretched and pulled, like you could hear the reverberation of it. The crowd likes Fraxium. They were definitely behind Fraxium the entire way. I like the match between them both. It was fast. It was fun. A little bit. I don't know if they can keep this pace up. Going forward, but I think Fraxium is a good addition to the tag team lineup, especially considering how the tag team division of the main roster has been. So hopefully Fraxium can definitely add to it. So it was fun, and Fraxium won with their debut, so that's a nice way of putting them over. We'll see if they start an inherent rivalry with Los Garza, so we'll see if they fight again next week, or what's gonna happen with them. So it was good. It was a good quick opener. It was fun. And the crowd's behind them, so we have a good deal of what's happening with Fraxium, and so we'll see what they will bring as we keep going through SmackDown, as we keep going through the year. Next up, we have a Tiffany Stratton segment. She comes out, taking her victory lap, gonna talk. This is the first time we see Tiffany Stratton after WrestleMania and retaining her belt. Good stuff, talking about how she enjoyed it very much, kind of like how Io came out on Raw, just talking about how she enjoyed it, but then Jade comes out. Jade coming out, I think, was good. I like Jade. I think she should definitely be one of the top. I mean, why not? She's definitely proven herself. We need to have more matches with her. And her coming out and Tiffany being like she's playing a very much like a kind of respectful sportsmanship type of champion, and that's nice, because Jade and her are both faces, so it's like, okay, this there has to be respect between the faces, so it was good. And then again, another commercial break, which again made me think, why are we having so many commercial breaks on Netflix? But that's just me. So this match did the same thing that happened to me in WrestleMania and as well on the Raw as well. There's something about women matches that I don't understand, that it just seems like they botch a little bit too much or they just go slow. There were way too many times in this match where you could see that the hit wasn't anything. They're not selling it, and I blame more a little bit on Tiffany on this, just because there was this one where Jade hits her with like a chop or a kick to get up, and Tiffany goes from like middle of the ring all the way to the top left turnbuckle. Like if you look at from the hard camera, she gets up and just does this like, oh, I'm being dazed, and she moves all the way to the turnbuckle, acting like she was dazed or something from like middle of the ring. And it's so weird because it's like, that's not a good sell. What the hell is going on? And it's just been going on ever since WrestleMania, where a lot of these women matches, it seems like they don't know how to sell right, or they're botching it, that it just doesn't come off right. Tiffany Stratton kind of, missing her cue for the moonsault the first time, and she kind of slipped on that. I don't know if you want to blame that. I don't know if it should have happened. If she could say she's still hurting from her match on WrestleMania, but it was just a few. It was just a few things that Tiffany was doing, that it just seemed like they don't know how to sell. She doesn't know how to sell. The punches aren't coming through. The moves aren't being performed perfectly, even though I don't mind giving people some leeway, but it's just like, stop telegraphing your moves, man. You're not selling enough. Some of the choreography seems like messed up, where you end up being in the wrong place, so you kind of shuffle to get to your next spot, so you can you know do up the next move and stuff. So I don't know, and it's been happening with all the women since WrestleMania that I've seen. So I don't understand. But I did enjoy this match. I do like that they're setting up Jade to fight the champion. I hope Jade gets a title belt shot. So that was good. Also, I was thinking that Jade would win this, but it wouldn't make sense because this is Tiffany's first appearance after WrestleMania, and so to lose right after WrestleMania after retaining would be a bad look. So it was good that there was a DQ. It puts them both over strong. Tiffany was able to hang with Jade, and Jade seemed to almost get Tiffany, but there were moments that she was losing. But with the DQ and Naomi, it puts them both over. None of them have to lose, and they could probably be set up to continue again. Although I don't know what they're gonna do with Naomi, because obviously Naomi and Jade, that's their feud going on, and so for Tiffany to kind of be in the middle of that, I don't know if they're gonna set up like Tiffany being this third wheel of this feud, which would be a problem because that's what they did with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Bianca. Even though Tiffany's the champion and Tiffany should be center of any feud because she is the champion. Champions should be the center of their feuds. So we'll see what they do. I do want to see the Naomi and Jade feud keep going. That's good stuff. The whole dissension in the ranks. They were friends, in the business, and then she backstabbed Jade, and now they're fighting. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. We're just gonna see where Tiffany falls into this, or if this was just a one-off. So we'll see, because I don't know if Tiffany's going to be like, I try to step with Jade. I stepped in the ring with Jade, and I was doing well or whatever. And then, Naomi kind of messed that up. So we'll see if Naomi DQ, if that's going to be a continuing thing. Because I don't know if Jade's going to have another match and then Naomi interferes again. I mean, that could be a thing, but it can only go for so long before I get annoyed by it and just be like, well, just have them fight then. You know what I'm saying? Because how many fights is Naomi going to interfere for Jade and not get her comeuppance or have a chance to fight at Jade? That she doesn't have to interfere in her match. So that was that. And then Nia Jax also interferes, which kind of surprised me too. So again, what is this? Because Nia Jax is against Tiffany and Naomi is against Jade. So now I'm thinking, are they gonna do a team up with Jade and Tiffany versus Nia and Naomi? I mean, it only makes sense, right? You know, you have two heels versus two baby faces. I don't know if this is gonna be a tag team thing, but at least like a setup where they fight each other with Naomi and Nia Jax. You know, like Tiffany and Jade have their opponents, but yeah, and they went over strong, or at least they tried to put them over strong. Even though I think Jade was easily manhandling Tiffany, like by a long shot. Like Jade seemed totally in control here, so Tiffany has to next time out that she has to get some better moves or new moves or something, because Jade was like not losing that match. That's exactly what I saw, and I think Jade would easily win against Tiffany Stratton easily in a match. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Naomi and Nia Jax team up. I mean, I don't know why not. Even though they did that segment later where Naomi like told her to stay out of her way, and Nia Jax gave her a face. That was kind of funny, but we'll see. We'll see how they turn out. Even though I think it's a setup for 2v2, but we'll see how they go with them. Next up is the Fatu segment. Jacob Fatu comes out, you know, does his celebration, winning the belt. You know, he comes out to gloat and all that. Of course, LA Knight comes out. People like LA Knight, maybe as much as they like Fatu. They enjoy their. What did I write? Yeah, you know, so you know they enjoy LA Knight maybe as much as they like Fatu. They definitely want the rematch. LA Knight should absolutely get it. And then in the middle of all that, Drew McIntyre enters. When I tell you that they don't know what to do with this guy, with Drew McIntyre, he won the street fight in WrestleMania. Okay, now what? Well, let's put him, you know, to start fighting for this belt. Okay, like it just came out of nowhere in a way, because LA Knight should get his rematch. Like that's what we're going for. No, Drew McIntyre just comes out. He's like, you know what? I've done way too much. I'm all this. I'm gonna get a belt shot. Give it to me, belt shot. And even Fatu told him, like, dude, you're just complaining. You're just whining. You know, wake me up when I hear something new. So that was like, yeah, Drew, like that's kind of what you're up to. You're just kind of repeating the whole stuff. So of course, I was thinking they're gonna do a triple threat. I mean, why not? Let's do that. And then it turns out it'll be a number one contender match between LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. And I was like, okay, so Drew McIntyre's feud with Damian Priest ends with a street fight, and he wins it, so then he could get a number one contender match fight with LA Knight, even though LA Knight should automatically get a rematch. Isn't that in the clause? Don't champions have a clause where if they lose the belt, they get a rematch before anybody else? So why the hell does LA Knight have to do a number one contender match? I don't know. I think it's just because they need something to do with him and Drew McIntyre, and they're like, okay, let you guys fight it out, and then we'll have Fatu into it, even though the previous champ should get a rematch before anyone else, right? I think that's what I mean, that's what they did with on Raw with Becky Lynch, Lyra, Raquel, and Liv. They lost it at WrestleMania, and they retained it immediately the next night on Raw. So I don't understand, you know, why LA Knight has to do a number one contenders match. So we'll see. The next one. So then the next one we have is the Zelina segment, where, you know, very babyface stuff, very straight-laced babyface stuff to go against Chelsea Green for the belt. I like Chelsea's entrance. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. I think Piper and Fire, is that her name? The Secret Harvest, but Piper and who's the other lady's name? Amber Fire, I think. But I like them as a Secret Service. I think I like them. I appreciate Chelsea losing the belt. This is a good push for Zelina, especially since she's like, you know, even like smaller and tinier than Tiffany Stratton. So it's nice for her to get a push, especially because, you know, she definitely needs it. I mean, every she was in LWO, and now she's kind of out, and she's kind of like trying to be a singles woman, and it's like, what has she been doing lately? And so now we'll see if Chelsea though tries to get her, interferes in her match, or tries to get her championship belt back, or how she goes about it, because now Piper and the Secret Harvest are out of a job, because you're only protecting Chelsea Green because she's the champion. Now that she's not the champion, what are we doing? Why would Piper care to take care of Chelsea when she could go up against Zelina and become the women's champion, and get the belt? Like, why would they still protect Chelsea? It was all right. I mean, Zelina is such a small woman though, because Chelsea like was just taller than her, and it just seemed like she was overpowering. But Zelina got her a few punches in. And she wins. It was a shock to me because I thought, okay, Zelina hasn't really been doing that much. Chelsea obviously has, is the veteran. She has more experience. She was a champion, so it looked like she was all set to win. And then so for Zelina to win was kind of a bit shocking. I think they just took way too long to throw the Secret Harvest out of the ring. Like, the ref should have done that faster. Like, it was this whole thing of like, oh, I saw you. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Oh, just throw them out. What is this back and forth? Just throw them out. You're wasting time on this. Just throw them out. You don't need to give them a reason, or more of a reason than you already gave them, as to why you're kicking them out. Like, I saw you hold on to her legs. But also, another thing, it should have been a DQ. Should it not been? Is that not an immediate DQ if the ref sees somebody come in and hold someone's leg, or is it because it was a punch, or excuse me, or maybe because it wasn't a punch, because all Piper did was grab her feet and Zelina fell. That's not a DQ. But if Piper came in and like hit her on the back or something, maybe that would have been a DQ. Either way, the ref should have just been like, yeah, get out of here. Like, immediately. Don't go back and forth. Just throw them out. I was like, I saw you grab this girl's leg. Get the hell out of my ring. That's it. Just go. Go backstage. So, it was it was a shock. We'll see how this title reign goes. I don't know if she'll lose it next week or very soon to Chelsea again, or maybe to somebody new. But Piper, Secret Harvest, kind of breaking away from Chelsea. Chelsea doing something else. We'll see how that goes. But Zelina is the new champion, so good for her. We'll see if she actually gets a push. We'll see how her title reign goes, because I like my champions to defend their belts. So we'll see if she's doing it, and we'll see how long she has it before she loses it. I don't know. Maybe this will be the next 4-year reign. We'll see. Next up, we have The Miz and Carmelo talking about him. And giving and Miz giving him a bust of Andre the Giant. It kind of reminded me of a death mask. I don't know if it's just because I don't like wearing people's faces as jewelry, but it did remind me of a death mask, and I was just like, I don't know if that's the best way to honor somebody, but it's just a personal thing of mine, I guess. And Miz comes out, gonna talk his stuff, complain about why he wasn't in WrestleMania after everything he's done for the company. And then Aleister Black interrupts and, takes Miz out. I don't understand this. I guess it's because I also don't know who Aleister Black is. The commentators are trying to hype this guy up. Oh, he's come back. He's come back. Oh my God. And all he does is come in and then, knocks Miz out. So there we go. That's our new feud. Aleister Black with The Miz. Even though The Miz was complaining about not being in WrestleMania, and Aleister Black just said nothing. And for his comeback, he wanted to go against The Miz. I don't know why you want to go to someone who didn't even make to WrestleMania and is complaining about it. He literally went out on stage to complain about not being in WrestleMania. So that's your feud, though. That's what we're going to do. So Aleister Black is back, and he's going to fight The Miz. That's literally what it was set up to be. So next up is the LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre for the #1 contender match. Again, LA Knight, as former champion, should have a clause to get a rematch before anybody else. So I don't know why he has to participate in the #1 contenders match, but he did. And I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. The match was just like, ugh. You know, it was like, why are we doing this? LA Knight should already have his rematch easily, and then Drew McIntyre, it's like they don't know what to do with him, so let's just put him in the contention for the race. But it's like, I don't know. It just felt like, okay, I guess it's because I just don't know what they're trying to do with Drew. Like, they don't know what they were doing. They put him in that feud with Damian Priest, and then he wins in WrestleMania, and now he's running for a belt. And LA Knight has to now work harder to get his shot at his belt again, even though he should easily have his rematch. Solo interferes on Drew's behalf, and then Priest interferes. So, although Solo doesn't get an interference, and Drew is going to take the win, so it kind of shows you, oh, that maybe Drew is going to be a bit heelish because he's going to take the pin, even though it was an interference that the ref didn't see Solo hitting Knight. You know, but then again, maybe this is gonna set up something where Solo is helping Fatu keep his belt, and Fatu, you know, doesn't like that. Like, they might have a little dissension in the ranks, because now Solo might be like the only, because he came out earlier and he was saying he got him the belt, he got Fatu the belt, he made sure that Fatu kept it, and he made sure, you know. So it might very much be the case that this is going to be set up where it's like Fatu is going to dislike the fact that Solo's interfering, because it's like, I should be able to win clean without your help. But Solo's going to be like, no, 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 no. The only reason you even have the belt is because of me. So now, of course, they're going to fight it out. So him coming out, fighting for, interfering on Drew's behalf because he hit LA Knight. You know, that might be setting it up, and also Drew willing to take the pin for that. He's like, screw it, I'll pin him. And then Damon Priest coming out and interferes, and it's a DQ, another DQ match. Wasn't expecting it. It was, you know. I kind of appreciate it though, because LA Knight should not be in a match for number one contender. He should already have his rematch before any other number one contender. That's it. He was champions. Champions get a chance to a rematch before anyone else, you know, for the belt that they lost. So at least a DQ means he didn't technically lose. So of course, though, that also means that we gotta do this again. So I don't know if they're gonna do a fatal four-way with Priest, McIntyre, LA Knight, and Solo. That might be what they're gonna set up, just to have them do something for the number one contenders match for the belt, even though LA Knight should already have his rematch before any of that. So we'll see. We'll see. It was just another DQ, Solo interfering, Priest interfering. I don't know. It was like, it just seemed bland. I didn't care for it. We're going to see another contenders match, obviously, because this would end in the DQ. And, of course, we might see the whole dissension between Solo and Fatu, because, you know, Fatu's not going to like Solo coming out and taking all the credit for Fatu's win. And, of course, Solo's going to feel some way about it, because he's going to be like, I did work for you, you know, and I did all this for you, so you should be thanking me. And if you're not, you know, I'll just take my belt anyways. That seems to be what we're heading towards. And it seems that Drew and Priest are still at each other's throats. I thought this was all handled in WrestleMania. I don't know why they're fighting again. Drew lost. Priest lost. Damian Priest lost at WrestleMania, and then he comes out to mess up Drew McIntyre's match further along. Why? You know, everything was supposed to be set at WrestleMania, but we're still rehashing this. It's like they have nothing new, so we're just gonna keep going with the same storylines from last season. Remember, WrestleMania is a season finale. Now we're on a new season. Now we have to give new stuff, because we have another year before WrestleMania 43. And so we need to build stuff up, but it's just like they're just copying and repeating the same storylines we've had before. So I don't know. Are they? Maybe this is just for right now. We still have a long time to go until the next WrestleMania, so maybe we'll see some changes that could benefit. But for right now, this match was probably the worst one for me out of the entire card. Yeah, didn't need it. And Drew, I think they just don't know what to do with Drew, so I feel bad for him. And LA Knight should absolutely get his rematch. Like, that's it. And then the last match of the night, the Triple Threat TLC tag match. I enjoyed it. Apparently, this is like one of the commentators said it's been like 5 years since they had a TLC match. So that was a bit surprising. I would think they would have had that here and there, at least within 5 years, but apparently not. It was a fun match. Although Tommaso Ciampa and the DIY dude looks really old. I think it might be his facial hair because it's gray. It gives him a way more older look. It makes him look older than he probably is, and he's competing out with younger guys, and it's just like it's a very noticeable contrast. So you're like, I don't know. I felt a little bit bad because it's like, bro, how old are you when you're still like, not even bigger, I don't know. I think if you put in time in something, you should get better and be considered better. But, Motor City Machine Guns and Street Profits, they did their thing. I think they all did well as tag teams. They used a lot of the chairs, a lot of the ladders, and of course, then they did the Dudley Boys get the tables. Even though the crowd was already calling for tables as soon as like within 5 minutes of the match. But I appreciate everybody was taking their bumps. Everybody was taking their bumps, and that's always appreciated. So I really did like this match. It might have been the best match of the night, which it should be. The main event should always be the best out of all the other matches. So. It was good, and also that moment with the prosthetic leg. I don't know if that guy was a plant or not in the audience, but it was good to get the crowd involved like that. So I think everybody did what they had to do, and it was a great match. It was probably the best match out of all of them. Motor City Machine Guns, they were good. They were doing their thing fast. They were doing quick. DIY was getting their licks in. I like the white noise with the ladder. I think they worked well together, and the Street Profits coming out on top was also good. Although that spear that was given to Tomasi, that wasn't as good. When they replayed it, you can see that. He didn't take the bump entirely, like the other, like the spear wasn't that good, but at least they did something crazy, and it was fun. A spear from the top while he was hanging was a good little move there, through the table as well. So yeah, it was the best match of the night. Street Profits retained, so it kind of seems that we're gonna have them again. Defend their titles against these two tag teams again because they're the only tag teams, worth a damn in this division. We'll see if Fraxium gets to, become another one in the tag team title race. So we'll see how it turns out. But this SmackDown was it was cool. It was like lukewarm. You had its good moments. Overall, it was just very meh. It was mid, I guess, as they say. Other than Zelina Vega winning over Chelsea, that shocked me. But everything else was like, okay, again, it felt very much we're taking stuff from last season. We're forgetting WrestleMania 41, and we're just gonna continue doing feuds, that we've already had with the whole Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I don't know what the hell that was about. But also we're gonna have a Fatu and Solo absolutely going at each other because Solo keeps going on that he was the one that got him his belt, and he was the one that helped him out. He was the one that got him in. So obviously there's going to be a bit of feuding there. So for this SmackDown, it was very mid. It wasn't anything special. The best match was the main event. Tiffany Stratton needs to do better work of selling. I don't know what it is because the women's matches since WrestleMania to me have just been slow. They've been telegraphed. They got to do a better job of selling. And Tiffany got to do something else because Jade was absolutely overpowering her in every single way. Like you saw, Jade could easily win. Like from what I saw between them, Jade easily wins Tiffany Stratton in whatever match they want to do. So Tiffany's got to do. I don't know if she's got to do different moves. I don't know if she's got to do more heelish things. But Jade could easily beat Tiffany any sort of way. So, yeah, that was SmackDown. We'll see how it goes next week. These feuds and stuff really don't matter. It was very mid. Best match was the main event tag team. And I enjoyed the debut of Fraxium. So, it was I don't know if I mean, I guess it was decent in the way because it went through at a good pace, you know, although I did dislike John Cena's parent shaming quip. And also Zelina Vega was a shocker, but we'll see how she's gonna, defend it, because she is a very small woman compared to a lot of the other main rosters. But we'll see. We'll see how they book her, and we'll see how she defends her championship. We're gonna see Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest again because Drew is gonna be upset that Damian interfered. LA Knight's gonna be upset that he didn't win his contender match, even though he should already have his rematch. So, it's like a lot of rehashing and repeating stuff that we've seen before. So we'll see how it turns out next week. Have you guys a great weekend. I'll see you then. Bye.